Jesus be offense. Jesus be offense. So I just finished listening to the Shade Rooms YouTube broadcast in reference to the Hot 104, Shorty the Prince, Tiffany Fox, Andrew Caldwell termination debacle and scandal. I had no idea how bad the fallout was. I had no idea, guys. Let me say this first and foremost. I thought that Tiffany Fox was a good selection for the program because it kind of loops in that love and hip hop, that VH1 population and community, which is good for ratings. But I've always known since Andrew was hired on that show that he was a bad fit for radio. He really didn't bring anything substantial to conversations or to their interactions. I found that the few clips or broadcasts I caught of him early on, he was just bad for morale and just the interaction. He didn't understand workplace, interactions and entertainment. And I noticed that just some of the comments he was making, the way he was interacting with Shorty the Prince, it was very obvious that he was flirting with, hitting on this man. A lot of things that he was saying online were so scathing and inappropriate that it was astounding to me that at no time did the radio station hold him accountable for those statements. Um, and that was off putting for me, but I figured out that someone within the entertainment mix that he hang out with, know, or connected to in St. Louis and black celeb entertainers, he was getting passes, meaning getting, some favoritism, right? Because of those interactions and relationships. But the way he used to treat British bothered me. Like I saw the video where he followed British out to the parking garage and he just made it a priority to keep taking digs at this woman. When unfortunately, British had to go to prison, the things he said about that woman were appalling, disgusting, and disturbing. So now we have a situation. There's a new lady. She is gorgeous. Let me say that. Tiffany Fox and British words too. They're beautiful sisters, pretty sisters. And Andrew the reality is he doesn't like women. For some reason, he liked to argue. He liked to fight. He liked to be contentious and aggressive and hostile towards women. In my opinion, he viewed women as his competition regarding men, but for whatever reason, it seems like he's unable to realize that every man doesn't want him. Every man aren't they're not interested or attracted to him, find him appealing, like him as a person, like being around him. He doesn't seem to grasp that reality. It's like some women, you'll find them, they think every man want them, and usually they're the least desirable of all women in a room or space. They just swear everyone likes them, everyone has hit on them, they can take your man if they wanted to. And two things are usually true about them: they are usually the biggest slut buckets, and number two, they're usually undesirable to the people they think want them. And I think that from my observation, he believes that he's fighting for the attention of men with these women or their appeal eh, that they gain by being women. And that's so bizarre. It is weird. It's cringe. It's creepy. It's concerning because he doesn't stop. Like whenever this occurs for him, he maxes out on it. And it's weird watching these interactions and trying to understand the psychology behind these interactions that he have with women. I've heard the way he yell curse at, berate, demean women on air. I will never understand how he was getting away with calling women whores. Like he would tap into that old church mother, always negative, turning you down, I mean tearing you down, always have to be picking at you about some. Oh, look at your hair, look at your clothes, look at your shoes. Oh, look at just, they're always tearing women down, and then they turn around and they make scathing statements about these women's personal intimate life, like they're in the bed with these women, like they know everything, but it's just from a place of hatred and insecurity. And it's the old, every time he did it and said it, all I could see was an overweight, light skinned church mother with a big hat on, the cloth across her knees, and she got cankles, her feet swollen, so she have on them diabetic, um, you know, lymphedema stockings on her leg that stop at her knee, and them nurse looking shoes because her feet swollen like bread pans. It's like he evokes this old school, old country, mammy-ish church hag persona when he's talking about women. I will never be okay when with men or anyone else talking between a woman's legs. You have no business talking between a woman's legs when you ain't been between her legs. Some things you don't say about a woman, and I don't understand people who laugh about this stuff and make a pass for it. And overwhelmingly, we have to accept as African Americans, you can't be mad about, and I keep telling them, you cannot be mad about what he's doing when you keep giving them views, you keep giving them traffic, and you keep giving them ratings. Hard stop. Let's get into the business part of this, right? So you're talking about a radio station, you're talking about a corporation, right? We're talking about lots of commas, lots of zeros are floating around when we're discussing Odyssey. Okay. But people don't understand the gravity of making any kind of allegations about sexual misconduct in the workplace. Those are multi-million dollar lawsuits. Those are not little civil disagreements. Those are serious. And I'm not talking about serious radio station either. These are serious allegations that have real life consequences on the only two professionals who were in that studio. That's Shorty and on Tiffany. They're professionals. That type of allegation has the ability to ruin them for professionally for many years to come. Many, many, many years to come. Okay. And so Andrew, he's probably used to making these allegations about people and nothing happens, because he was doing the same thing in the church. He was calling the twins all kinds of whores and sluts, and he was doing all. He's been doing this stuff in the church for a long time, to the point he was about to get his clock cleaned a couple of times by sisters and brothers about calling people whores, sluts, and all of this stuff, right? But anyway, when we're talking about a conglomerate like Odyssey and all of the other entities and corporations that they're associated with and affiliated with, no one are trying to have that kind of scandal attached to their corporation. No one. No one. And so because of that, he is bad for business. And I'm pretty sure what they probably did was they saw how dangerous of a liability he was by making these statements, that they probably thought, well, if we get rid of him and just him and not all of them, then he will say that he was wrongfully terminated. Then he want to run and say he getting a lawsuit, my attorney and all of this stuff, right? So they understood the realistic way to handle it, best way. We got to clean house. We got to get rid of everyone. Everyone. I think it's unfortunate for Shorty because I've heard wonderful things about him and things he's done in the St. Louis area. The type of person and the caliber of his personality and character, I've always heard wonderful things about him from the very beginning. I've always heard great things about him. I've always felt like Andrew being associated with anything that he was doing dropped him down several ranks by being attached to Andrew at all, because they're not at the same level. They're not. They're not even within the same realm when it comes to media personalities. They're not the same caliber of entertainers and broadcasting. There's J schools there, where they could have recruit better talent than Andrew, and they didn't give those people opportunities to be on air when they should have. Right. So within the formula for Odyssey, I think the mistake they made, they didn't realize it until after the fact. And that mistake was Andrew. And let's look at something else. Who are responsible for referring Andrew to that show? That's the person everyone need to be looking at right now, because it speaks to their judgment, their professionalism, and their eye for entertainment to even remotely give that boy that job. They ignore all of his shenanigans and gave him that job anyway. And they didn't realize that based on his character and behavior, he doesn't have what it takes, the integrity to have that type of position. He would misuse the little bit of visibility and power that he was given. And he's done that. It's, I think the guy on the Shade Room broadcasting is the same person he be hollering all the time. Hey, Justin. Hey, Justin. Hey, Justin. So all of these black entertainment people, all of these black church people, all of these black reality star people, your black behinds are fueling this behavior to the point he has went way left to say something as horrible, nasty, funky, low down, trick mentality, foot dragger, bald head scallywag as saying that lady was having sex with her coworker in the studio. Really? Of all of the things you could say, who and what would possess someone to say something so funky and vile about a woman? And the thing is, he always made these allegations about ladies. He never made these type of scathing allegations about men. When have you ever heard Andrew saying anything about them funky, nasty men who be in that nasty, funky, disease-ridden, nasty behind bathhouse? When have you ever heard him say anything negative? And you don't think he has seen men doing foul stuff? It just remind me of them nasty, funky, hag, trifling, pulling, hitching up their skirts for deacon women in the church, but playing so holier than thou, but they are the keeper of secrets for the funky old spice, nasty old men that they be walling around with and then projecting their whoredom onto single, young, beautiful, gorgeous women, because they're the hoes, they're the hags, they're the tricks, They're the flat back and they're the nasty. They dropping to their knees and dropping draws. They're the ones who doing it. But praise the Lord. How you doing? God bless you. God bless you. Glory to God. Yeah, you walking around don't even think they say anything to that deacon, that reverend, or nothing else, and they standing up there boomed over somewhere. Child, he has learned that behavior from some woman, somewhere, and he picked up on her mannerisms, her verbiage, all of that, her slurs, her slander. And the difference is nobody, no one could do anything about them. No, them old funky slutting around church hags. No one could do anything about them back in the day. People just had to, you just gone to another church, or you just don't go to church no more. But nowadays people are slapping them across their face with lawsuits. And Tiffany, better press the gas, dig your heels in with this lawsuit. You have to. You cannot let people get away with saying that you're in your workplace. Do you all realize how much money sexual misconduct cases cost companies? Those are multi-million dollar judgments. Like, you become blackballed in that industry because you did something you ain't had no business doing. You cost that company all of that money. No one wants to hire you after then. So her livelihood, it is on the line. That is no exaggeration. That's reality. I don't know why in the world he just, like, at some point, Andrew, I know you listen to my broadcast. And by the way, Andrew, I caught you last week. Hmm. Yeah, you made that Freudian slip again. You'll sit there and watch my stuff, then turn right back around and repeat me and all everything. You do it, and I caught you last week. But anyway, not last week. That was earlier this weekend. I caught you, but that video was from last week. But anyway, um, Andrew, at some point, and I think this is the point in time, you are going to have to go to counseling and face dead center why you keep competing with women, why you're so angry with women, why you're so hostile and aggressive towards women. You have too many instances, too many police reports, too many judgments that are film, all of that, and they are all about you attacking and being aggressive towards women, violent towards women, stalking women. You have to remember, I'm one of the women you were and still stalk. Okay? This lawsuit isn't going to go like the Cordell lawsuit. It isn't. This is going to be a high profile, visible case. Okay, so all of these people call themselves insulating you, covering up for you, and if they think they're gonna make a character statement about you, you have to remember, when this girl shows up, she's gonna have all kinds of documentation proving what your mouth and that false allegation did to her and her life, her self-esteem, her livelihood, and no apology will be able to make up for that. None. Because whatever is going on with you, these, you need to understand, women are not competing with you. Women do not desire to be anything remotely like you live your life at all. There is nothing about your life that any woman desire to have, be, emulate, copy, reproduce, manufacture. There is nothing about your life that women desire. Nothing about it. Your mannerisms, possibly, the men you deal with, the men you date, or whatever, they're not the people that's what you want, that's what you have, and you need to stop. Well, it's too late now. I mean, you had a chance to stop. You had a chance to stop. People keep making excuses for you, but those are ran out at this point because it is very clear there is a pathology there and you cannot ignore it. You can't. It's something clearly you have not faced, dealt with, and you think you're going to go around taking that out on women. And I don't know if you believe that by not attacking men, that somehow you will be safe with the guys. They'll like you. They'll want to be around you because you can do it. I don't know what you be thinking, but you need to take whatever you be thinking, your behaviors, your messes, and all of that. You need to take that to a counselor because if you ain't figured out by now, you keep inching yourself closer and closer and closer to the penitentiary. That ain't no exaggeration. Now, I don't know if you're gonna find some clinician or doctor to get up there and say you mentally incompetent, you or something. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be held responsible for the stuff you said about that lady. Because yeah, they're gonna get the documents to see what you said to HR. So you're not gonna be able to lie and back do a 3-point turn out of it. That's not how it's gonna go. It isn't. So yeah, them people gonna get their money now. I don't know. I mean, ain't nothing left now, but for you to find, I guess, some rich man to go run off and a rich woman or whoever, whatever you be dealing with, to go live. Because I know good and well, them people must be lying about you running for political office. Because I know good and well you ain't crazy enough to go take your behind out out there after this is known. Now you got a lawsuit against you for lying like that on somebody. I don't know, but uh, yeah, you need to get help. You need to get help because you better be glad that everyone's response to you has been lawsuits, litigations, and judgments against you. For different sums of money. You better be glad that has always been what we had to opt for when it comes to you. We had to, but you keep having parallel to that. You keep having criminal charges against you, and every time it's always women. You, honey, just bad for business. Pretty much, you're just bad for business. And anyone who don't notice that at this point, then they're slow or something, or you all in some kind of coven of witches and warlocks or something. Because this should tell anyone, who are professional and have invested and built something, they better not touch you with a 50-foot pole because your mouth can end up costing people millions and millions and millions of dollars for false allegations against their talent, their employees. And that's dangerous. You cannot weaponize human resources. They are not your personal bully team on a job. That's not the role and purpose and function of human resources. They're there to play as mediators, but you don't understand their primary job. It is to protect the company or business, the hard stop. And any rights you may have, it is primarily resting on that company corporation being protected, not you. So I don't know. Maybe you thought going down the hall or going upstairs or whatever, you was gonna go ahead and bully them. But it sounded like to me you've been doing this for a while. You thought you had people in your back pocket to use them as your weapon. I mean, another thing, I don't know why you thought that you were part of the hiring process for talent who were going to be on that show. That's not how it works. She didn't ask you for a job. She didn't need your permission to get the job when she has more talent than you, when she has more seniority than you. Like, you were the plus one. Like, you were not the main talent. You were the plus one. I mean, the thing is, I did make the time yesterday to watch it. You did a broadcast in your car, and I noticed something. Every time you did a broadcast about this show, you kept saying, "I'm replaceable. I'm replaceable." I think someone at that company told you that to your face. And that really, really got in your craw because you have been repeating it over and over again. I'm replaceable. I'm replaceable. I can be replaced by somebody else today or tomorrow. I'm replaceable. That really cut you to the quick of your soul when they said that to you. Because when stuff bothers you, you repeat it. And you repeated that several times. So that's how much it bothered you. Mm, mm, Tiffany Fox, honey, I wish her well in this lawsuit and in this litigation. I think she has something substantial that it will get traction. I mean, she's gonna get some outcomes because she will be able her legal counsel. All they're gonna do is get the documentation from Odyssey, of what was alleged and said. And not only that, the investigation. And yes, they have to do a full on investigation into these claims that I don't think he realized professionally that's how it works. I think he just probably believed that if he went down the hallway or upstairs, downstairs, around the corner, wherever, I think he believed if he said it, then she was going to get the boot. And I think that's because he didn't, like I said early on, he didn't understand the dynamics within a workspace amongst coworkers and colleagues. And that's because of just lack of any kind of social IQ and understanding, unfortunately. You put him in those situations. And that's why I said, whoever gave that boy that job, that's who everybody need to be talking about. Because I don't understand his rationale, his or her, them, they, their, whatever. Let me go. I gotta go because I had no idea this fallout was this. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. Oof. Honey. I had no idea the fallout was this bad. I'll read y'all comments in the morning. I'm going to bed. Y'all have a good night. Take care. Bye.